Quick, run! Okay, rolling after 4 seconds. A couple weeks ago, I got to go to the Northwest Hobby Expo in Monroe, Washington. I just love going to these shows. You know, you get to see some really cool models, and particularly handmade models. There's so many ARFs on the market today. When you run across something like you see here, this is a Republic SeaBee, handmade by an 80-year-old gentleman who could no longer see well enough to fly. And I had the privilege of being able to purchase this model. And let me tell you, I am really pleased to be the new owner. Let me tell you a little story. When I was growing up, my father owned and operated a seaplane taxi service out of Bellingham, Washington. And he had a Republic SeaBee. And I can remember as a small boy, I used to ride around in this thing. And I can remember how loud it was. I thought, man, that's loud. And it really was. And I remember my dad always complaining about its flight characteristics. It wasn't known as the best flying airplane ever made. But he had some exciting stories to tell, flying this old SeaBee around the San Juan Island. So when I saw this airplane, it didn't take me long to decide I wanted it, because it's so beautifully built. You can see the workmanship in this. There's some really unique features. Once again, this is all built with balsa. It's all covered. The wings are covered kind of with a solar tex, and of course the fuselage is with a plastic film. But this has so many compound curves, so many little areas that had to be formed and shaped and carved and sanded. I can just imagine all the hours, all the painstaking hours that went into this model. So if the gentleman who built this SeaBee ever gets to see this video, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the privilege of being able to own this, and thank you for the great workmanship that went into it. When I was at the show, he wasn't there. He actually had one of his friends there selling it for him. So that's why I never had the opportunity to meet him personally. This has, a couple things on it that are going to make it a great flyer. I'll show all these things up to you close so you can kind of see some of the craftsmanship and the key features yourself. First off, note it does have removable wings. There's a couple of screw attach points for the spars, and you unhook the struts, and you can remove the 2 wings here for transport. But I want to show you this engine cowling, give you an idea how much work went into this. This is all balsa, and look down inside here. You can see all the strips that had to be glued. All these little bulkheads had to be formed, and this all had to be sanded. And this little grill screen had to be, bent and soldered, and the exit here. So that alone, just imagine how much work that took. And looking down inside here, he installed a E-Flight 32 power motor. This is going to produce a lot of power, I can tell you that. These are great motors. He's also got a 60 amp E-Flight ESC, and then the battery that is powering this is a 4-cell 3200 milliamp battery. So I should be getting some good flight time out of this. One of the things I did was, of course, at the show I checked CG right on the wing spar here, and you can see just the CG is just about right on the money. So I'm not too worried about balance. There's a couple things. I haven't decided whether I'm going to fly this off land or water the first time, but you can take the 2 screws out for this landing gear and pivot it up so it's up and put it back on and fly it off the water, looking almost like the scale SeaBee. Now inside the forward section of the fuselage, this top comes off for battery access here, and you can see you've got your servos down in there, and this is where the battery placement is, right here on this side. And it's just a great looking model. I'd certainly hate to damage this because it is so well built. So I'm looking forward to getting this thing bound up with a receiver and doing some taxi testing. And if I get my nerve up, we'll probably see a flight video in the future. Check check this out. You know, I couldn't wait. I just had to get the receiver in and get this bound up. Just listen to the smoothness of the flight controls. Isn't that just great? Now for the big test, watch this, this motor perform. You hear how smooth that is? I just love the smoothness and the sound and the control response of these E-flite motors. You can tell it's got some oomph, it really does. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a real kick to get this SeaBee out and fly it on the very same lake that my father used to fly on back in the 1950s.